There's some crazy Spider-Man brand new day theories out there, but this one is the craziest one because this movie is getting so much hype already. First of all, the thing that really got people hooked in was the fact that Peter Parker is gonna be a miserable, miserable dude in his 20s, which is relatable in this economy. But the second thing, right, this theory changes everything. It could make this such a bizarre movie that it has half the people walking out of the theater and the other half going like, what the hell is going on here? And the trailer hinted at this. It really did hint it because what you see here is Peter Parker essentially losing his humanity, right? You see that in the trailer. He has nothing left. The dude has nothing left. What if, what if, what if his body starts to change the same way? We see in the trailer Peter Parker is going to Bruce Banner, Hulk, and they don't know each other. Nobody knows him anymore, okay? Which is so ironic and so sad at the same time. But he tells him that there's a genetic mutation in his body, okay, that it's impossible. Look at him start to get his webs, In all the other movies, Peter Parker, this version of Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, does not have his own web shooters. He's an engineer. He's an engineer at Stark Industries. He basically uses artificial things on his hands, to shoot webs and stuff. Now they are starting to be organic. They're a part of his own body. What if he changes more and more into a spider? That's apparently one of the comics. One of the comics has Spider-Man literally turn into a spider. What if he can't stop it? And the movie is part of him trying to stop that change. He's searching for a cure because he's starting to get three eyes. He's starting to get spider eyes. He's literally turning into a spider. His DNA is mutating that way. That's one thing that's hinted at, okay? That's one thing that's hinted at. But there's another thing. There's another theory, and that's the fact that in the trailer, right, when you see Spider-Man fall out the window, you can see him have webs organically out of him for the first time. You see a symbiote there. There's like a tiny little thing there. It's tiny, but you can see there's a symbiote. It's attached onto him. So this version of Peter Parker, some of the leaked theories, the leaked endings, say that he's going to become more and more symbiote. It's not Venom. It's not Tobey Maguire's universe probably, but it is a symbiote that is changing him. And eventually he's going to get the black suit. He's going to get the black suit. And think about it narratively, right? It makes sense because he's lost everything. This is the darkest version of Spider-Man. That's what they're promising us. They're promising us a super depressing story. What's more depressing than either he turns into a spider more and more, he loses not only himself, but also his body. Okay, that's the first thing. But what if the other thing is that he loses his humanity? They can really explore this a lot more than the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi movies did, because back there, I'll be honest with you, it was really well done. It was really well done, but at the same time, it was a little bit cartoonish. What did Venom really do to Spider-Man there, except give him an indescribable amount of riz, and it made him kind of mean. That's not really this version of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He started off with having everything, dude. He had the machine arms, he had the super suit, he had everything handed to him, and over time he lost everything. This is going to be the darkest Spider-Man. It's going to be the darkest Spider-Man version. And you're going to watch not only his mind, but also his body change. And the leaked ending, I'm not going to lie to you, when I read it, I thought that this is going to it's going to set up an even darker movie afterwards, where he's even more dead inside, even more evil. And what the leaked ending is basically that, okay, there's probably going to be some grand fight. Some of these characters are going to remember him. They're going to either become acquainted again, but I don't think they're just going to keep it so that they get to introduce each other again to each other. There's going to be some callback to the previous movies. Hulk or something is going to understand who Spider-Man is. MJ, right, she is going to remember. I know it's breaking the laws of that universe, but she's going to remember that Peter Parker is him. It's him, and he was her boyfriend, and she was the guy she loved. And it's not probably going to be on a cognitive level, but it's going to be on an emotional level. That's likely to happen probably, and it's going to end with Peter Parker being taken over by the symbiote completely. He's going to get taken over, and he's probably going to die in the end. What happens after that is that it's going to turn out that he's not completely dead, but in the next movie, it's probably just going to be completely symbiote, completely black suit, and you're going to have to watch him recover from there. But in any case, this is looking like a super dark, depressing movie. I hope that they really go for what they are aiming for and what they are advertising, because it's completely different. It has like a totally different vibe from the Sam Raimi movies. It has it's more modern in a way. The Sam Raimi movies were a little bit like, Spider-Man was OP there. He was really good, but here it's going to be interesting to see how this Spider-Man is going to outdo the other one. Because remember, in the previous movie, Tom Holland's Spider-Man was not as strong as Tobey Maguire's. Like, there's no even, like, they need to bring it up to the point where, Tom Holland is strong or as stronger or as strong or stronger than him. Because think about it, right? A lot of people have been complaining about how Aunt May dies in the previous movie. The Green Goblin, he just yanks a bomb at him and he is unable to react. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, he just instantly grabs that and throws it back at him. Just like no discussion about it. Aunt May wouldn't have died if it was Tobey Maguire. That's the thing, right? So Tobey Maguire is a lot more OP. He's a lot more OP. So now you have to see, how is Tom Holland going to become more evil, a darker version of him, and by having the organic powers in his body, how is he going to be able to actually, not get taken over by them, not turn into a spider, not turn into a symbiote completely? And that's going to be a very interesting battle to look at. I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of people are hyped for this movie, and you can really see why. I mean, it's an easy thing to see why, because it's something different and it's interesting and it's coming up soon, actually. It's just a few weeks away. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting movie, because when you looked at the previous Tom Holland iterations, you saw him being more naive and trusting of other people. And this dude had his, he got taken advantage of so much. Like, when we were watching this movie, I had people say, like, this is the dumbest version of Peter Parker. How could he allow this to happen? So many people suffered because of him. And partly you can agree with that, right? He was naive. But at the same time, it's a completely different version of Spider-Man, where he's like growing up to be something else. He's becoming something different. Tobey Maguire felt like he was Spider-Man from the get-go. And you had him like Uncle Ben, great power comes great responsibility. And that's it. Now you're Spider-Man. And the lessons that he did learn didn't really cause that many casualties. It's interesting that Tom Holland has so many more casualties, and it's a really tougher life lesson. It feels a lot more like what young people might be grappling with, and looks interesting. Hope that it keeps as dark as the trailers promised. Either Peter Parker is going to get taken over by a symbiote, he is going to turn into a spider completely. At the end, he's probably going to die, according to the leaked endings. That's the thing, right? But at the same time, there's going to be some type of recovery. It's going to end on a positive, but on a bittersweet note. That's the thing that these movies with Tom Holland always have. It's a little bit bittersweet every time. This dude just gets more and more damaged each time, which really unveils a kind of trend with superhero movies where they're just more and more depressing and darker, and I welcome that. It's a welcome change. You know, if you look back on Robert Pattinson's Batman, that's really when it started. So it's gonna be interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.